Welcome to Subramani. A few days ago, somebody asked me a question. You're making investing look so simple. Do you think everybody can retire a millionaire? Well, let me answer this question. I think what he meant was, can everybody earn 10 lakhs? And I don't think he meant 10 lakhs, because I think 10 lakhs today is something which many people under the age of 30 would have. So I don't know whether he meant 10 lakhs or he just thought it was a very big number, so he was throwing it at me. So let us look at whether everybody could have earned, created 1 crore, maybe even 40 years ago. Right? Somebody who started investing, say 40 years ago, could he have created 1 crore? Right? 1 crore would be a big amount. For somebody 40 years ago, he wouldn't have thought of it as a small amount, he would have thought of it as a big amount. So let me answer that question now. You could have easily created a corpus of 1 crore, assuming you had invested approximately 50,000 rupees a year in the index. You would have created 2 crores. So how much did you actually need? Yes, if you had invested 50,000 a year over the last, say, 37 years, I'm assuming a person starts earning at the age of, starts investing at the age of 23 and retires at 60. So which means you're talking of 37 years, 50,000 rupees would have needed a very small return of about, what, 8%? Let me just check. Yeah, 50,000 at 8% would have returned 1 crore today. All you needed was uninterrupted growth of 8%, including dividends. And to think that the Sensex with dividends would have given you 16%, and the Sensex was already available 37 years ago. So Sensex was available, what, about 41 years ago. So this, I'm talking of 1981-82. Somebody started investing. He started putting away about 4,000 rupees per month, slightly above 4,000, 50,000 a year. Even if he had done that, he would have had 1 crore today. Absolutely no doubt about that. Okay, you did not have that much money, very fine, but you found back edition of Subra, and Subra, my book of Retire Rich, Invest Rupees 40 a Day, this book. You found this book with the 1979 or 1979, 1980 edition, and you invested about 40 rupees a day. That would have been about 14,400 rupees a month, a year. 14,400 rupees a year, which was not unthinkable at that time. It was possible to invest that kind of money. Not too many people, at least the qualified chartered accountants, etc., could have easily found that money. No, if you were a clerk, no, maybe 1982-83 you were earning less than that. But for a CA who was staying with his parents and earning approximately 3,000 rupees, which would have been the pay in 82-83, if I'm not very wrong, would have been able to invest about 40 rupees a day. That is about 14,000 rupees a year, 14,400 rupees a year. But you jacked it up by 10% every year, as I say, and then that would have led to 1 crore with just 6% growth. Now, this is what you could have achieved with just 6% growth, and 6% was very easily available. PPF alone would have given you more than this. And hey, here is your 1 crore in a completely safe environment. Inflation was pretty high during the early times of 1980s and even 90s, and therefore you could have easily got this return even from fixed income instruments. Now let me just MM Raman was this man's name who had asked me this question. I don't remember whether he asked it on my blog or whether he asked it on the YouTube channel. And let us look at what would have happened if you had put 50,000 rupees a year in the index and it had got, you had got 15% return. If you had got 15% return, which is again not impossible because the Sensex gave that kind of a return, all it needed was having an index fund that time with very low tracking error. I wish Mr. Vanguard was here in 1979 in India and people had listened to him. And well, at 15%, you would have been an American millionaire. You would have had 7.5 crores. Let me repeat, 7.5 crores is what you would have had if you had not interrupted 37 years of compounding. So it's very important to understand that in compounding you should start early, invest regularly, and very, very important, which most people forget to tell you, do not interrupt the compounding. Do not for any reason try to take something out and all that. That interruption in the compounding would not have created 7.5 crores. Now, even if you had said, okay, I didn't have 4,000 rupees a month, fair enough, but I had 1,500 rupees a month, 18,000 rupees a year. You had 18,000 rupees, which you again upped it by 10% every year, and well, at 16% you would have had your 7.5 crores. So the question, Mr. Raman, is not only would you have had an Indian millionaire, which makes no sense. 10 lakhs is something which I think is not an aspirational figure. 1 crore being an aspirational figure, of course it was. I'm talking of 37 years earlier. People putting in 5,000 a month, 4,000 a month, or even 1,400 a month, or about 1,200, 1,300 a month, about 14,000 a year. Growing it at 16%, which was the index return. I mean, I'm not talking of anything else. Index return, dividend reinvested, would have easily created a 1 million US dollars, right? Today's US dollars. I'm not talking of 40 years back. Today's US dollar, 7.5 crores is what it would have created. So it's very important to realize that when you throw numbers, when you ask questions, do a little bit of homework, because compounding over 30-40 years, now if the same person had continued, let us assume this was your father, and today he has 7.5 crores. Maybe for his own requirements he takes away 1.5 crores out of this. Can you imagine how much this figure would be 40 years later, when his son or when your son is looking at it, and how much it would be? That is what is the power of compounding. This is how you create heirlooms, right? Now, well, did this person mean that he didn't really mean whether you can be a millionaire? What he meant was, would you have enough money for your retirement? In both these scenarios, there is enough money for retirement. I mean, I'm talking of both these scenarios of 7.5 crores. It is much more than what he requires for retirement, because if he's retiring today, assuming his expenses are about 10 lakhs a year, which I'm being liberal, he needs only about 3 crores, right? 30 times. So he already has 60 times that. So he does not, he has 75 times that his requirement. So he is absolutely comfortably off with his for his retirement requirements, right? So it's just the power of compounding. You could have created your millions, you could have created your crores. And the question is, would you have financial independence? There is absolutely no doubt that even people with, I mean, I have met clerks with a net worth of 5-6 crores simply created because they were working in companies which were near the stock exchange. They heard that Supreme Industries is a good company, so they bought it in 1988, they are still holding. They heard that Hindustan Unilever is a good company, pays good dividends, they bought it, and it grew, right? Clerks, peons working in chartered accountant firms and lawyer firms, because they just heard these words and they invested. Believe me, these are peons, not peons, these are clerks. Clerks, perhaps today they would have also done an MBA and taken up a job, but they were clerks, and they created this kind of portfolio. I met a friend of mine whose father had created a 4-5 crore portfolio simply because he started investing in the 70s and just didn't sell. They lived a very frugal life. He would take a bus all his life and all that, but by the time he died, he had created a 3.5-4 crore corpus, right? And I mean, money is a relative thing. So even if you have $100 in your pocket, it doesn't mean you don't have enough value, right? You would have a credit card, you would have net worth, and so having 5,000-6,000 rupees, 7,000 rupees doesn't really matter, as long as you know how much is your net worth and how much you are creating. That's more important. Being independent financially means not depending on anybody for all your requirements. None of us will be so rich that we can just go for an evening walk and buy a